Most bankers aren't ready to help you until after their third cup of coffee. But with Central National Bank's after-hours service, you don't have to wait for the bank lobby to open to get help. You can contact us from 6 to 8:30 in the morning or from 5 to 10 in the evening, and we'll connect you to a real, live, local person who can answer questions and fix problems 7 days a week. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Member FDIC.
Support for this podcast comes from Frito-Lay and the 2023 Snack Bracket Championship. The Frito-Lay Snack-It Challenge is underway, and fans are voting on their favorite snacks to crown champion. We're talking about prime-time matchups between the best 64 snacks in the land. Will Ruffles Ridges reign supreme? Can Doritos defend their dynasty? Or will Smart Food use their smarts for a surprise upset? Only you can decide. Get in on all the action for a chance to win up to $1,000 or a year's worth of snacks. Let your snacks be heard. Just go to fritolaysnacket.sbnation.com to vote and enter for a chance to win. No purchase necessary. Sweepstakes ends April 3rd, 2023. Void where prohibited. Year's worth of snacks awarded in the form of 52 coupons, each good for one bag of chips. See official rules at fritolaysnacket.sbnation.com.
Welcome to Women's Hoops and Talks, the What podcast, where we are elevating the voice of women in basketball. I'm Tara.
And I'm Cassidy. Thank you so much for listening today. We've got a great show coming up. We have the one, the only, Jennifer from the famous I'm Trying Jennifer tweet. Welcome to the show, Jennifer Williams.
Thank you, Tara and Cassidy.
We are so excited to go right to the source and to talk to you today about just what happened and what life has been like for you since it happened. Before we dive into that, just a couple pieces of housekeeping. One is to let everybody know that you can find the Hoops and Talks podcast in the Blazers Edge podcast feed, and you can subscribe and follow us on Twitter at Hoops and Talks. And the other thing that we usually do to start off a show is that we have an icebreaker. Cassidy, would you like to go ahead and share the icebreaker today?
I think so. I'm wondering, what is a technological advancement that you cannot live without for watching basketball?
Who wants to start? I've got a list.
Okay, Tara, let's go. Let's hear it.
Okay, so halfway through this season, I started using, I cut the cable cord and started using PlayStation View to watch my games. And so now I have all the games on my phone, and it's totally incredible. I don't know how I lived without it, because I just walk around with it and I have it on my phone. I go from one room to the other and it's always there, and I can record all of the games and watch them all later, and it's just amazing. And I don't know how I ever lived without it.
Nice. I think for me, I'm torn between Twitter, where I follow all of the wonderful Blazer things that are happening and all of the things around the league, because I always am wondering, what are they chanting in that arena when I'm watching on TV? And with Twitter, I can always know what the fans are chanting. So that's a big one for me.
I would say for me, I could not live without League Pass. I have to have League Pass. I need to see all of the games all of the time. I didn't think about the PlayStation View though.
Yeah,
I'm interested in that. I'm really interested in that. But yeah, the NBA League Pass I have to have. I'm always logged in on my phone, on my iPad, wherever I am. I have the games just right at my fingertips, literally.
Mm-hmm. Truly a woman after our own hearts. So Cassidy, I thought you were going to say your virtual reality glasses.
Okay, yeah, I'm kind of torn because those are new for me. I bought them right after talking to Stephanie Reddy last week and kind of addicted to them. I may or may not have watched last year's slam dunk competition 3 times on them.
Oh, that's
from the rim view. You can watch from the basket. It's amazing.
Oh my God.
Wow, that's totally incredible. Yeah, we need to get periodic updates from you about what that's like.
Yeah, it's incredible. I'm making friends who don't even like basketball watch it, and they're like, "Why are you making me do this?" And I'm like, "Shh, enjoy it."
So do you like have the same rule that Stephanie Reddy told us about that at her house? If you have the VR glasses on, you have to be sitting down.
Yeah, because we broke that rule, and my husband ran into a counter like twice, and so now you have to be sitting when you have the glasses on.
Wow. I think I might be a little worried about us as a society.
I'm slightly worried, but I'm also like embracing it.
Totally. Well, let's get in and start talking to Jennifer. I want to give a shout out first to friend of the pod, Janelle Moore, who's also a Golden State Warriors fan. And if you haven't met her yet, you should connect with her on Twitter because she's amazing. But she was the one who suggested, hey, why don't you reach out and see if you can talk to Jennifer? So here we are. Can we start off with just you introducing yourself and telling us about how you came to love basketball?
Sure. My name's Jennifer Williams, obviously born and raised in the great city of Chicago. I've been a basketball fan for a long time, most of my life. I'm 38 years old, not ashamed to say that. And I have vivid memories of being 5 and 6 years old, watching the Celtics and the Lakers, and my entire house rooting for the Lakers. Even though I know Mike was here already, but he hadn't really, blown up.
Yeah,
I guess,
wait a minute.
Yeah.
So that was when you were really small. So sorry, I interrupted you.
I was really small. It's like 85, he'd only been in the league, a year. I don't even know if it was his second season or anything when he got hurt, but it was really early, vivid memories. I remember my house just being totally magic in the Showtime Lakers. And then later years, as I got into grammar school, like first, second, third grade, it was Bulls Town, Michael Jordan all the time. And by the time the Bulls made it to the finals in 91, I was in fourth grade. And from that point, I was totally 100% addicted.
Nice. Did you ever play as a kid, or I mean, in Chicago, I have this idea that in Chicago, like all kids just played basketball all the time. Because I mean, why wouldn't you with Michael there, right?
Exactly. Growing up, I mean, even now, you will not find too many basketball courts empty. There's even in the cold weather, unless it's a lot of snow, then you won't see kids around. But I am not tall. I'm only 5'3". Always the shortest person growing up. When I got to high school, my freshman year, I really wanted to play. I didn't even care about height. I attempted to try out for the junior varsity team, and I had to do conditioning. You had to start for a tryout doing conditioning, and I think I ran laps after laps after laps. And then after we came in from that, they're like, "Yeah, okay, get in the layup line." And I'm like, "But I can't breathe." So I determined that my love, I didn't have the talent to do it, but it did not alter my love for the game. So
that's awesome. Well, let's move into talking about what happened over the summer. So we are always super welcoming and exciting to find new fans. And like Cassidy was just talking about, trying to get her friends to watch it, even if they're not into basketball. We're always trying to get people into basketball by like amazing, fun stories. And this was one of the stories that I would tell people. So just to put a little context in for people who might be new. So Portland Trailblazer CJ McCollum has a podcast, and he had as a guest Kevin Durant, who plays for the Golden State Warriors, who I understand that you're a fan of.
Yes.
And they got into it a bit on the podcast because Kevin Durant said that CJ McCollum's Blazers were never going to win a championship. And that continued onto Twitter. And then there was this Twitter conversation. I mean, then maybe I'll just let you take over and talk about what happened.
Well, leading up to that, I will say this. I've always liked CJ McCollum as a player. Even I started to recognize him when he won Most Improved Player. So I'll say that. after the championship last year, I kept hearing like stories of CJ saying something to the effect of, the Warriors being so stacked, and like all of these different interviews I'm seeing come across my timeline. And I that day, he was responding to a story and just basically saying, he's not a bitter person, he's not a scorned woman about this situation. And I was literally at my desk at work. I work at a community college and in higher ed. So I was at my desk on my way to a meeting. I scrolled for like 10 seconds. I saw his, and I just was kind of, I guess internally, it was like, you know what, I'm kind of fed up with all of this talk. And I sent the tweet, and I literally left my phone at my desk. I went to my meeting, and I came back to my desk, and the meeting was about an hour long. I came back and I saw that my oldest son had been calling me, and I thinking like, okay, something is going on. He doesn't call me this often, this much in a row. And so I called him. He's like, Mom, you went viral. I'm like, viral for what? Like I couldn't imagine what it was that I did that could ever go viral, And so he was like, you said something to CJ on Twitter? And I was like, yeah, I think so. And so I go to my phone, and it was like, literally, I could see the numbers increasing as I'm looking at it, in real time. And then I stayed at work. My boss at the time was a basketball fan. So we literally probably talked about it for the rest of the day after that happened. And by the time I got home, it was memes galore. I was tagged in a lot of things. I'm active on social media, obviously. So I'm in a lot of sports groups on Facebook. And so everyone is just like, are you the Jennifer that said this? Is this you? And so it just kind of literally blew up from that point.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
It's just crazy.
I love that you were in a meeting while this was all just like exploding.
I'm talking numbers and enrollment,
Yeah.
in college, and not having any idea of what's transpiring on the internet. So it's pretty crazy.
So we have, we also, both Cassidy and I are also active on social talking about basketball. And we have a group, a Facebook group called Women's Hoops and Talks, which anybody listening who wants to join it should send a request to join. And we talk about basketball, mostly Portland Trailblazers. And so we turned to them and said, hey, we're talking to Jennifer. What questions do you all have for Jennifer? So we got a few.
All right.
Cassidy, do you want to start off by reading Jennifer? We also have a Jennifer in our group.
Okay.
So you want to read Jennifer's question?
And we use the I'm trying Jennifer a lot with Jennifer, so this works really well for us. So were you surprised when CJ replied to you? Like when you saw that he replied?
I was shocked. I was shocked that I've never had any celebrity or famous person really reply to anything I've ever said online. So I was definitely shocked. And then I was even shocked at what he said, that I'm trying, Jennifer. I kind of felt like, oh, okay, I'll shut up now.
Well, I think the NBA community in general was extremely amused by this interaction. And were you as amused as everyone else was?
I was. I thought it was just such a kind of honest reaction to someone that trolled him, but not really within kind of anger, but just kind of more of a straightforward statement, like, hey, just want a playoff game and then talk. And he responded, I'm trying, Jennifer. And I was like, okay. It was almost like, I don't know. I really don't know how to describe it, but it was just so straightforward and genuine,
And I'm wondering, were you surprised when it came up again during the playoffs this year?
I am a mother of 4 children, and I work a full-time job. It's really kind of high intensity. So I believe it or not, this was not even totally on my mind about the I'm Trying Jennifer. I was watching a game Sunday, and it was snowing here in Chicago, believe it or not, in April, like a lot of snow. So we were stuck kind of in the house. I didn't want to go out in that. So I'm watching the game, and I was into the game more than thinking about, oh, if the Blazers win, then that's that playoff win that I talked about, et cetera, et cetera. I didn't even think of that. I was just hoping you guys were going to pull it out. And about 5 minutes left of the game, my Twitter mentions started to go up. Like, all of a sudden, I had a bunch of notifications. And I watch games with my oldest son primarily. And I looked at him and I said, oh, snap. The Blazers are about to win a playoff game. And then that's when it kind of like, oh yeah, that's right. I did say that, right? So it was pretty cool. It's like to see it in a real time action, to kind of be like, okay, I guess so.
I was actually at game 2 and I saw probably 100 I'm Trying Jennifer t-shirts.
That's crazy. That is just still so crazy. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
What do you think was so... Well, I guess that kind of leads to the next question from the next woman from Women's Hoops and Talks. Janice, she asked for a recap of what happened right after, and you already went through that. But another part of her question is, why do you think it went viral? Like, what do you think resonated about this message? Have you thought about that much?
You know, I've tried to think about it. Like, why did it go so viral? And the only thing that I kind of can come up with is just that it was just an honest response. You know, it wasn't CJ said something trolling me back. It was just like, hey, we're trying. You know, it's not that we don't want to win a playoff game, but we're trying. And that response kind of resonates a little past basketball, if you want to be honest, you know, in everything that we do. You know, we're all just trying to be successful.
Yeah, I think that's definitely part of it.
Yeah, as fans who the Blazers had lost 10 playoff games in a row, and like it's like we know how hard Damian Lillard works, and how, like, if you only knew how much this team means to this city, you know, they don't have, you know, baseball or football. They have soccer.
Right.
They don't, you know, they have men's and women's soccer, but they, like, really, the Blazers are the biggest deal. And so it just, like, for the fans, it just means so much. And I think CJ just perfectly encapsulated, like, how we're all feeling. It's like, we're trying, like, nobody even pays attention to us.
Yeah. And I think that is so true, living, you know, here in a sports town with 5 major, you know, sports teams. You know, I think I can definitely sympathize with that feeling, like, hey, we want the team that we do have to do something great, you know, and in the Western Conference is so tough, and even being a great team, a good team, you know, you have to get over the hump to get to great.
With all of this craziness going on, has anyone approached you to help you capitalize on the phrase, I'm trying, Jennifer?
You know what? Interestingly enough, no one has come directly to me. It's been kind of a one-woman show here. So I've been doing my own research, and right after everything happened that day, within a couple of days, I had researched how to trademark the phrase, trying to capitalize on it for myself, obviously. And it's a long process. It's not something that happens overnight. And so I'm in the final stages of solidifying the trademark for myself. So right now, no one else can go and try to get a trademark for it, but I have to show that I am using it in a way that's going to be beneficial, basically. That is what I'm doing at the moment.
Are there some other, like, you know, things that have happened to you that, like, never would have happened to you if this hadn't occurred?
Well, first of all, interviews. This doing a podcast. I did the Brian No show, so I'm sure that would not have come up. Obviously, the interviews with ESPN and the Washington Post. they watched the ESPN interview actually came about even before the playoffs started. So they have been working on a story that I'm sure they'll publish soon, but they had already been started on the story because the Blazers have been doing so well this season. It's almost a certainty that they would win a playoff game this year. So,
well, there was a certainty last year too, and that didn't.
Yeah, well, that too. I didn't want to bring up bad news.
We can take it.
We're used to it.
That's true.
Well, it struck me that I'm not wearing my I'm trying Jennifer t-shirt right now because it's in the wash because it's actually my lucky shirt.
Really?
Yeah, I either wear my I'm trying Jennifer t-shirt or my Bosnian Beast t-shirt, and then I wear my Al Farouk Aminu jersey on top, and that
okay.
that seems to be the winning combination.
That's cool.
But it struck me that like it's so weird in this day and age. Like it caught on within minutes of when you tweeted it, because I was at work too at the same time.
Yeah. Okay.
Within minutes, people were going, "Oh my gosh, I need that on a t-shirt," again, because it's so resonated with everybody. And we have, I don't know if it's the same is true like with the Bulls fan base, or you're a Golden State fan, I believe. So it's probably the same with them. But there's like certain artists who just, create some just fantastic designs based on like whatever's happening right now.
Right.
So we had several artists come out right away with I'm trying Jennifer t-shirts and sending them on to CJ McCollum. But anyway, I didn't realize it until just today, where I was like, oh my gosh, like Jennifer isn't getting anything from this. I mean, I'm sure maybe they are. I don't know. I'm assuming. I don't know. But like, I don't think that people are probably sharing the proceeds with you.
No, they're not. They're not, of course, which sucks. So, I mean, at this point, it's just a matter of me creating a better design and selling them myself, which I have begun to do. I had some shirts initially in August after all of this went viral, but they did okay. It was more of my local friends and family that purchased them. But now that I have my website up and my logo, I've created more shirts and actually not just shirts. There's hoodies and other items that you can purchase with the logo on it.
Well, we will definitely share that, and I bet you'll get some purchases from Portland.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Should be supporting the Jennifer who has sparked all of this.
It's like I'm hoping I'm starting a Jennifer movement. There's a lot of us out here.
There really are. So you've got your website up that for selling your t-shirts, and are you doing like some writing or anything else with that?
Well, I'm trying my hand at blogging. I've always been a person that likes to talk, and especially about basketball. And so I'm kind of using this viral thing to become a blogger. So I have a couple of blogs up. Hope someone takes time to read through them. It's really just more of my own take on the games, my opinion on things, which is kind of what got me to the viral point. So just kind of trying to use this as a bump to become a real blogger. I love my everyday job, but this is actually pretty cool, and I get to reach people just talking about something that I truly love. Like, I literally love the game of basketball.
Well, let's talk some basketball.
All right.
What do you think of the playoffs so far?
The playoffs have been good. I'm not surprised that outside of the Bucks and Pistons games that the series are close. I think people look at the regular season standings and saw they weren't as close in the Eastern Conference, the top five, as they were in the West. So I think people just kind of looked at Toronto and Milwaukee as being guaranteed favorites. But as you can see, as they start to play these games, they're a lot much closer than people thought.
Do you think I've heard some people like tossing this thought around at the end of the season that the Eastern Conference for so long has been sort of like, the secondary conference. People like call it, the JV conference and stuff like that.
Right.
Do you think that
Right.
do you think that is changing?
I think so. I think that with LeBron leaving the East was the biggest move that helped the East, honestly. You could not get to any other round without going through LeBron, whether he's in Cleveland or Miami, it still had to run through LeBron. And so now that you don't have this, the number one or maybe number one, I don't know, player in the league out of the conference, it just opens it up. And I think it's a mental thing too. Teams feel like we have a chance. We have a chance to at least get to the finals. I mean, in my opinion, it's wide open still. I still don't see the Bucks just, sweeping all the way through to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't see Toronto as a lock. And I think that definitely changed when Brooklyn beat them the other day. But I think that it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle. I still do not believe, regardless if my Warriors make it to the finals, that the East will win. I think they're the toughest teams are in the Western Conference.
Do you have any predictions for the Western Conference Finals?
So, obviously, I believe the Warriors will be there. Mm-hmm. The question is, who will they face? You guys look good. Portland looks good. I don't see where there's some team that's gonna knock you off going into second round. I mean, OKC is tough, but I think that you guys have more talent and you have more, you have a better bench and can get through this round and get through the next round and potentially meet up with the Warriors in the finals, conference finals.
I think it's so interesting this year that I'm surprised that y'all could potentially be facing Houston right away and not in the conference finals.
Right, mm-hmm. Right.
What do you think about that?
I mean, I think I actually like that matchup a little better, meeting them in the semis versus the conference, because I just don't want to feel like, okay, we're repeating the last year's conference finals, just that whole mindset where we almost didn't win, had to take it to 7 games. I think, of course, it's going to be a tough series regardless. There's a lot of kind of bad blood, I guess, between the Warriors and Houston. But I'm actually happier to see them in the semis versus the conference finals, where you haven't gone through 2 hard series already, and now you have to face this team, which can potentially be a 7-game series, and you're already kind of tired. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm not going to bet against the Warriors. That's for sure.
So as long-suffering Portland Trailblazer fans who have had to face the Warriors a few times in the playoffs, it is our obligation to bring up this question. So don't take it personally. But how in the world did they blow a 31-point lead?
You know what? I sat here and I watched it. I literally watched the crumbling of that lead. I watched, like I said, I watched the games with my oldest son, and we talk through the whole game. Like, if you don't watch basketball, please do not come around us, because you're gonna be like, what the heck are you guys talking about? And so I'm looking at I'm watching the third quarter, and I'm like, come on, why is Steph still on the bench? I'm like, oh, so Steve's going to keep the B squad out. Okay. So I'm saying all of these things, and my son is like, if they have a 20-point lead going into the fourth, we'll be okay. And I'm watching the lead dwindle. And then it was 14 going into the fourth. And I'm like, I don't feel good about this because they had the momentum. I honestly don't know. I think the Warriors are so good talent wise, and that sometimes mentally they take their foot off the gas and they let teams back into games. And so hopefully that was a wake up call for them to know that they could lose if they don't continue to play with their top play.
Okay, Cassidy, will we accept that response?
We'll accept it.
I don't have any excuses. They blew a 31-point lead.
They blew that lead.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
I totally feel you.
I mean, I live by the NBA expression that anything can happen in any given night because they're all
Anything can
professionals.
happen. Yes,
Yeah.
honestly. I watched the Bulls beat the Celtics, this season. So anything can happen.
It's funny. We had a group of us were together watching a game. I can't remember what it was. It was on TNT. And during halftime, it was the Warriors were playing somebody who was not good. And during halftime, the announcers kept saying, it's just really hard to play a bad team. we were like, really, it's hard to play a bad team. And we were laughing and carrying on. I thought that was the funniest thing. And then wouldn't you know, the next or like a week later, the Blazers played like a bad team and just struggled so hard.
Right.
Yeah.
It is truly crazy. But like you said, it's a professional league. So you just catch a team on a bad night where they're not connecting, a bunch of turnovers, a lot of fouls, momentum changing. Anything can happen. Anything.
Absolutely. And that is why we love it.
Yes.
Well, we should probably wrap it up. My husband just put his head in here and told me that he's waiting to start chainsawing this morning. So I think he would like me to get off of the line. Jennifer, can you tell folks how they can find you and your work?
Sure. I have a website. It's at imtryingjennifer.net. You can find my blogs, also a link to purchase my I'm Trying Jennifer apparel.
Right on. And how about how can they find you on Twitter? Or do you want more followers? Have you had enough?
No, of course. I like followers now. I'm at Chalk Delight 1980, special name. But if they just look up Jennifer Williams, they'll find it.
Thank you so much for joining
us. Thanks, guys, for
has
having me on.
Really fun hearing your story and talking.
Thank you.
Talking with you. Cassidy, you want to take us out of here? Do you have a voice left enough to do it?
We're going to see. That's going to do it for this week's edition of the WET Podcast. You can find the WET Podcast in the Blazers Edge podcast feed and anywhere that you find podcasts. You can follow us at Hoops and Talks, and you can email us. We love emails. hoopsandtalks@gmail.com. You can find me at Cassidy Gemmett on Twitter. And Tara, how can you find you?
You can find me at TCB Biggs. For Cassidy, and also thank you again, Jennifer. Thanks everyone so much for listening, and we will catch you next time.
Today's episode is brought to you by Cars.com. With over 2 million vehicles and 50,000 more added every day, Cars.com will match you with the perfect car for you, your budget, your life, your style. And if you're ready to say goodbye to your current car, Cars.com will get you an instant offer to cash it in. Just start by entering your license plate and get matched with a local dealer who will write you the check. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, just go to Cars.com. It's magical.